check now on the lineups. Now, England have made those 2 changes, as you said. Glenn Hoddle starts the match in place of Neil Webb, and Trevor Steven comes in for Chris Waddle, who's a substitute. I have to say that if David Watson had been fit, I think he would have played at centre-back. As it is, he's not, and Bobby Robson perseveres with Tony Adams and Mark Wright. The substitutes include Chris Waddle, Steve McMahon and Mark Hateley. Now, as for the Dutch, they also have made 2 changes. Up the front, they brought in Marco van Basten and left out young John Bosman. But the midfield change is an interesting one in that Erwin Koeman, number 13, the elder brother of Ronald Koeman, has been brought into that department. They've left out a winger, John van Schip, and that may have something to do, knowing the way Rinus Michels thinks, with the fact that Hoddle is playing for England. Anyway, a person perhaps better qualified to discuss that, and indeed the general prospects for today. Robson. Here's Stevens. Hoddle. Well played. Robson. Liniker's made a darting run through. It came off Koeman. Liniker surely hit the post. Dead unlucky. Ronald Koeman made a disastrous mistake. The blonde defender, it came off his head, he beat his own keeper. And Liniker hit the outside of the post. Chance for England after only 8 minutes.
And what a fine ball it was of Brian Robson's there, off his left foot, sweetly in Lineker's path, which caused all that trouble.
Van Breukelen was coming off his line so fast. There's Van Basten, and he goes down. Play on, good decision by the Italian referee. Gary Stevens went for the ball, I would have thought there, as the ball was not long over the head of Mark Wright. Van Basten crept in between them, and Stevens, well, Van Basten made it look dramatic. At worst, it could have been a case of obstruction.
Thank you.
A long ball by Gary Stevens. Lineker's off again. Beardley, Robson's in the penalty area now. Free kick. Koeman was brought down. So, encouragement there for England, because Koeman panicked. Van Basten moving wide. Gullit is in the penalty area. Van Aerle to Wouters. Gary Stevens away. Koeman. Vanenburg. Wouters. Gullit. Hoddle. Play on. Good decision. Good advantage by the referee. Gary Stevens. Beardsley. And still. Van Aerle was the defender. Rijkaard. Free kick to Holland. 10 minutes gone. If you've just this minute come in or turned on late, no score, but Gary Lineker hit the post for England just a couple of minutes ago. Gullit. Rijkaard. Van Aerle. Mühren. 13, Erwin Koeman to his brother. Wouters to Mühren. Back again, Rijkaard. Hoddle. Liniker. Every England player was back there. Bullet to Mühren. Koeman, he's got a very good left foot. And that's curling a bit. But I rather think Peter Shilton knew exactly what was going on.
It excited the Dutch supporters, that, more than it excited Peter Shilton. He knew exactly where it was. It was a mishit cross and ended where it should have done. But a good start for England, composed. Bobby Robson looks as if he's got them in the right frame of mind. The moment, just Peter Beardley, not quite as sharp as the others and as positive, but you'd be quite proud of the team if you were the manager on what they'd done in this opening 10 or 15 minutes.
Let's hope it continues that way. Tony Adams has got caught a little bit there, but Barnes is there to help him. There was an hour-and-a-half team meeting this morning at the England Hotel, and I suspect quite a few hard words were said as to the size of the task and the attitude required to deal with it. Number 8, Trevor Steven from Everton. To his club colleague, Gary Stevens. Hoddle. Beardsley. Running on to Liniker. "12 minutes gone, no score." This is Koeman. Van Tiggelen. Robson getting to him, but no question about the foul there. Beardsley was in. It was a poor pass from Wouters, but this is Rijkaard to Gullit. Aerle. 20 was Wouters. Gullit. Well played. Away by Robson. And now Beardsley. Liniker's off. Marked by Van Tiggelen. Glenn Hoddle's well up on the far side, furthest forward for England at present, as Stevens finds Steven. Hoddle's waiting, so is Liniker, so is Barnes.
As their manager would have liked, there were 3 England players in the penalty area there ready to finish that off, but not quite enough power finally, and offside brings the game momentarily to a pause.
Beautiful stadium this, the stand on the far side, bedecked underneath with flags. An absolutely glorious day for watching football. Here's Gullit. Finding Rijkaard. Gullit's making a strong run forward now. Away by Gary Stevens, who started very firmly. Beardsley gets a free kick. Seems to me that Glenn Hoddle's got licence to push on and play virtually behind the front 2 attackers for England. He's already made a number of forward runs ahead of them, in fact. Steven, of course, wide on the right, and Barnes wide on the left. That was Hoddle. Liniker's closing in here. He got the other side of his marker, who was Rijkaard. One good thing about Gary Lineker, he doesn't allow a miss or an unlucky performance even to lower his morale or affect his confidence. He'll still go on looking for chances. And so he should with a record like his. Koeman for Holland. Ronald Koeman. Over the head of Stevens. This is Gullit. Van Basten's closing into the penalty area now, still Gullit. Well played by the captain, who got that out, and then Trevor Steven found Hoddle. But he only found Vanenburg. Through ball, Gullit. Chance for Holland. Oh, and Van Basten Well played by Tony Adams. Met Van Basten as he came in for a wicked low ball played in by Gullit. Stephen. Robson. And now it's Van Basten offside. No danger there.
Tony Adams took quite a lot of criticism in that first game. Some of it I thought unjustly, but that was splendid defence there. England was in trouble, and he marked very tightly in the middle. Here's the dangerous position, appealing for offside. England in possession again.
This is Robson. Adams. Barnes. Vanenburg. Van Aerle. Van Basten's in the centre. Vanenburg. Wouters. Van Basten a good turn, Robson a good challenge. There's no question England properly fired up for this one, as you would expect. But it's the Dutch on the attack. It's Van Aerle with the throw. Adams comes to meet Van Basten. Van Aerle. And he's forced the first corner after 18 minutes. Now, we've got to watch Gullit here, because in the game that we saw against the Soviet Union, he was flicking a few of these on, and Frank Rijkaard has gone forward as well. Came off Gary Stevens' head. Then Mark Wright. Back in. Oh, and Gullit seemed to be blocked by Adams. Mühren. Well, there were appeals for a foul in the box, but Arnold Mühren wasn't listening to those. With that lovely left foot, he chipped one back just over the crossbar. Just to confirm, we are in the hands of our German colleagues with the replays today. That was forward by Brian Robson. So now England pushing forward. Tony Adams has gone into the penalty area to lend his height here. Gary Stevens' throw. Robson's also there. Adams fell. Koeman. Glenn Hoddle. Kenny Sansom. Rijkaard. 20 minutes gone here in Düsseldorf in the European Championship. England 0, Holland 0, but quite a lively opening. Here's Van Tiggelen for the Dutch. Erwin Koeman. Mühren. Mark Wright beating Van Basten. This is Trevor Steven. Liniker.
Erwin Koeman, the number 13, who's playing sort of in the outside left position for the Dutch, is an object lesson really for John Barnes. You've probably noticed him playing actually outside the touchline, but keeping the ball in, making the use of every inch on the width of the pitch. And Barnes comes back, closing off the line there, running in from it as against stretching the defender out. You can see that in the background, out to the touchline. He does close play up instead of offering width to the man passing the ball. There's Gary Stevens.
There's Barnes. Probably Robson, who's refused to let the events of the last few days dampen his spirits, at least publicly. I suspect he's had a few private moments when he's felt under a lot of stress, but can't allow the players to see that. Here's Stevens. Glenn Hoddle running on and looking at the linesman for a possible free kick, which he didn't get. This situation is a reminder of Mexico when England lost their first match to Portugal in the World Cup and then recovered against Poland. Ronald Koeman, slightly more decisive with the header this time. Tiggelen. Koeman. Sansom. Barnes. Again, it was a deep starting position, but he's got away from Wouters. Liniker's in the centre, and Barnes takes them all on. Still Barnes forces the corner. That's the best run we've seen from him, perhaps, in this competition so far. Really motored down the line. Now, what can England do from this rehearsed set play? Adams and Wright are in there. Appeals by everybody. It's going to be another corner. Glenn Hoddle is floating these in. Adams and Wright are facing the kicker. And well taken by Van Breukelen. And rolled out to Gullit. But Gary Stevens so quick to close him down. 27 minutes gone in the first half. England 0, Holland 0. In a match that neither country can afford to lose. Beardley being challenged by Rijkaard. England fans making themselves heard. They'll do well to outshout the Dutch today. It's about 4-1 in Holland's favour. Barnes. Important thing is, from England's angle, they don't allow the Dutch to outnumber them on the field in the key areas. There's Trevor Stephen. Liniker waiting in the centre still. Koeman. Wright getting in ahead of Van Basten, which so far he's done every time. Ronald Koeman. Wright again. Penalised this time. Tiggelen. Ronald Koeman. Vanenburg. Wouters. Gullit competing here with Wright. No, it's a free kick against the Dutchman. And England have taken it quickly, and they found Glenn Hoddle. Beardley. Barnes. Hoddle tucking it back into Barnes. It's given away away by Robson to Gullit, but Mark Wright again with the interception. And coming forward with some confidence to find Trevor Steven. There's Wright still. Barnes. Waddle. Stevens. Just coming up to the half-hour mark. England certainly making as valid a contribution so far as Holland in terms of attacking play. And Bobby Robson will, I would imagine, be quite satisfied with the application in that period. They need the break now, though. This is Hoddle. Robson in the penalty area. Barnes. Beardley. Koeman came to meet him. Goal kick.
A flash of confidence there from Beardley, which will be useful to see him get going up front. Tried to put it through the player's legs and almost succeeded in catching up with it on the far side. But a satisfactory performance from England. There's very little between the teams, proving that the England team is in the class of the best of the Europeans, but the result will be made on the day by a flash of brilliance from someone.
Aerle for Holland. Rijkaard. They do just like to push it around among the back four of the Dutch. They don't like to be hurried. This is Van Tiggelen. Koeman into Gullit. Whereas England had two players in attendance there. Time forward to make sure it went in. Brian Robson's 22nd goal for England. And has he scored a more vital one, I wonder? Van Breukelen just came out and he managed to jab it past him and over him. 9 minutes gone in the second half and England are level. Koeman for Holland. Gullit. Robson's name announced over the booming loudspeaker system in the Rheinstadion and greeted with great delight by the England contingent. Captain courageous, finding himself in one of those forward positions, breaking from midfield and playing a good 1-2 with Gary Liniker. Gary Liniker in the role of provider there rather than scorer, and it makes a nice change for someone other than him to be applying the finishing touch. There is Liniker though, and England's tails are up now. This is Sansom. Back by Wouters. Van Tiggelen. Bear in mind that although a draw would technically keep both sides in the competition, it's a win that they're really looking for here, so England will press on and try and build on that improvement. Here's Hoddle. Wright coming forward yet again. He's done so effectively at times. Liniker, Wright again. Liniker! And the Dutch defending desperately on the edge of their area. That was Van Tiggelen. Hoddle. Offside Barnes. Play on, says the referee. Oh, he tried to play an advantage, but the free kick was taken anyway by Mühren. It's Barnes who was caught. This is Gullit. And he's giving the ball away now. The Dutch are rattled. Hoddle. Barnes. Beardley, who started that move that led to the goal. Free kick to England. require some attention, which gives me a chance to bring in Jimmy Hill again.
Well, you said the Dutch were rattled, and they really have been in that last 5 minutes of play. All the confidence has come seeping back into the England players and appeared to be disappearing from the Dutch. They thought they had the game sewn up. Not only they scored a goal, but they were creating other chances and looking dangerous. They found the way through, but it's a different game now.
Well, Mark Wright will not be fit enough for the moment to go up for the free kick, so Tony Adams is there. Brian Robson also waiting to come in. Played forward by Hoddle for Sansom and Vanenburg and Sansom, and a free kick's been given. We were expecting to see Ronald Koeman coming out from the back with the ball, but I think we've seen more of Mark Wright doing it.
Yes, he's never lacked confidence, Mark Wright, to play when he's had the ball at his feet. The substance is there for a first-class international career, but he just has to stop the kind of rush of blood to the head that lost us the goal in the first game against Ireland.
13 minutes gone in the second half in Düsseldorf. England 1, Holland 1. Brian Robson having put England back into the game with the equaliser. And those people who think that Brian Robson should actually be playing in the back four might reflect on the fact that from midfield he can get into scoring positions like he did just then, which is presumably what Bobby Robson keeps him there. Now Mühren, I wonder if he'll last the 90 minutes, Arnold Mühren. They've in the past sometimes substituted him. He's 37 now. Here's Hoddle for England. And play on, says the linesman. Beardley. Hooked across, and Van Breukelen coming a long way for that. Adams forward for the throw. Sansom takes it. There's Adams. Stephen. Robson's in the thick of it again. And finally a free kick to Holland. Referee having a word again about dissent, this time with the England captain. Quarter of an hour gone in the second half. One each. Vanenburg for Holland. Gullit again nursing that left wing position. Did that nicely. Vanenburg's in there. It just glanced off Kenny Sansom's head, and Barnes couldn't save it. Aerle to take the throw. Van Basten's in there. Overhead kick from Hoddle, headed back by Ronald Koeman, and then Beardley. Van Tiggelen. And the Dutch are going to make the first substitution of the match, and it shows how badly they want to win it, because it's a striker who's coming on. Wim Kieft, number 14. A goal scorer of some considerable pedigree, has replaced Gerald Vanenburg. Kieft, a former winner of the Golden Boot, and indeed he scored 28 league goals in 32 games for PSV Eindhoven this last season. And he's gone into a forward position to link up with Van Basten. So whether Gullit will drop a bit deeper, we shall see. Here's Ronald Koeman. Mühren. Rijkaard. So Vanenburg has been replaced, as he was in the opening match against the Soviets. Well, played Kenny Sansom. Barnes, Beardley. Long ball by Ronald Koeman. Wright and Adams with the straightforward two strikers, two tall men to contend with now, and Gullit just floating in behind them. This is Liniker. Just over 17 minutes gone in the second half. And the Rheinstadion seeing a very good match, but one of considerable significance, which could still so easily go either way. Hoddle to Beardley. Couldn't get past Rijkaard.
What was shown there, that tackle back on Rijkaard, and then the challenge after that. He's giving everything he's got. It'll be fascinating to see what's done about the substitutions, because one or two players might not last. It's a hot afternoon, humidity 72 here, so exhaustion's going to play some part in the final battle.
Here's Rijkaard for the Dutch. Koeman. Number 20, Wouters. Kieft is searching for a position on the edge of the England penalty area. Gullit's gone to join him there. And that ball from one Koeman to the other. This is Irwin. Came off Tony Adams, a corner to Holland. The cross was actually too long for the Dutch players, but Adams put it behind. Well, there's one way of following your team. Rijkaard and Kieft have come to the near post for the kick from Erwin Koeman. On by Rijkaard. Gullit over the top.
Some athlete, Rudy Gullit. You see the elevation he gets here. Shilton not in position. He gets up above everybody and just can't quite squeeze it under the crossbar. I'm rather hoping that, as against the Russians, he might fade a bit in this second half, but it hasn't happened yet.
20 minutes gone, in fact, in the second half here in Düsseldorf. One goal each for any latecomers. Van Basten for Holland after 44 minutes. Brian Robson for England after 54. And there goes Liniker. England are warming up Hateley and McMahon at the moment. Here's Koeman for Holland. Van Basten, oh, and Van Aerle. No, offside. Offside, Van Aerle in the centre of the pitch and Kieft on our side. It could have been either one of them, actually. I think it was, well, yes, Van Aerle in the middle. Forward by Sansom to Beardley. Barnes. What a good contest this is. England, if anything, having the better of the second half. Trevor Stephen. Liniker. Brian Robson was in the thick of it again there in the penalty area. Our furthest player forward. He's still there. Liniker. Goal kick. I said that McMahon and Hateley were warming up. In fairness, so too are Waddle and Anderson. Bobby Robson's got all his subs taking some exercise on the running track.
Hateley might prove quite a threat, because the Dutch defence and the goalkeeper have been in a little bit of disarray at times, but it looks as if it's Waddle has got his jacket off, John.
Yes, Bobby Robson, out of your picture, has just gone to talk to Chris Waddle, who's taken off his tracksuit top and is definitely coming on. Can't emphasise enough the way the group is poised, that a draw, although it would keep their hopes alive, isn't really enough from this match. Both teams have to go for the win. It's going to make for a very exciting last 25 minutes or so. Arnold Mühren to Ruud Gullit. Wouters is well forward in the centre. This is Van Aerle. Went behind Gullit. Koeman, Mühren, Koeman. And again. Van Basten coming short. Good tackle by Adams. From Tiggelen. Koeman. Now Van Basten, there was space there to line up the shot, and Peter Shilton had to turn it round. They didn't close Van Basten down too well there. Now the substitution, it's going to be Trevor Steven to come off and Chris Waddle to go on. Steven, who took Waddle's place in the team today, now gives way to him. Corner to Holland. No, I think it's going to be retaken. I don't think the referee was ready because Chris Waddle hadn't quite got himself onto the pitch. Rijkaard and Kieft are the players in the near post area. Foul. Well, Jimmy, what do you make of the substitution with 20 minutes to go?
It looked to me as if when Trevor Steven came off, he was limping slightly. I would think that's because of injury. I wouldn't have taken him off, and I don't think Bobby Robson would otherwise, because he's had a splendid game. But Mark Hateley, who is the one who I think might be the greater threat to the Dutch later in the game, is still continuing to warm up on the track. But it's going to be a fascinating last period of the game.
Hoddle forward, Robson on the chase. Managed to hook it up, but not where he wanted it to go. He would have preferred to have found Liniker. Hateley is indeed still doing the stretches and looks as though he will be playing a part. This is Gullit to Mühren. Now Rijkaard for Holland. And then into the side netting. Well, you couldn't say that Gullit has dominated the match, but he's certainly had moments when he's made England look very uncomfortable. Floating in and out of the action, but when he's in it, thoroughly dangerous. Plays in bursts, really. Koeman. 19 minutes to go. England 1, Holland 1. Van Tiggelen. Mühren. I think Holland are going to get a free kick there.
Gullit is also so determined to get into the later stages of this competition, because he knows you can't prove yourself the best player in Europe unless you get into the final stages of a major competition. And so he's fighting for his sort of professional life.
What he's in. Well, it's a hat-trick! And the Dutch have surely cracked it now. The third goal. And Van Basten finished it at the far post. Again, absolutely deadly close to goal. This 23-year-old from AC Milan, who spent 6 months of the season with injury. At one point, he wasn't even going to come to the championships. Didn't get in the team at the start. Brought back by Rinus Michels today, and he scored 3 goals. Barnes looking for Hateley at the other end. 14 minutes to go. Holland 3, England 1. It was 2 goals in 4 minutes there. This is Wouters. Ronald Koeman. Van Aerle. Stadium throbbing with noise from the Dutch supporters. Their team have taken over the match now for sure. Free kick to Holland. Gullit makes the run across. And it rather looks, I'm afraid, as though England may be going out of the European Championships. 13 minutes to go, 2 goals to make up. It's a tall order with Holland playing like this. Well, from Linus Mikkel's point of view, that was a devastating 5 minutes, Jimmy.
Yes, it was, and you can hear the joy resounding around this stadium of the Dutch supporters, because they have an elegant team, they play football, play it sportingly, and they have flashes of brilliance, which we haven't quite got the defence, or England hasn't quite got the defence to contain.
Mühren putting one across his old manager maybe here. Rijkaard. Well, there'll be some sad English supporters, not just here but at home, of course, because it looked at 1-1 as though we were in with a chance here, and the Dutch have moved up a gear. Koeman, Mühren. This reminds me of the noise in the German stadiums in 1974 when Cruyff and company were going great guns in the World Cup. This is a very different Dutch team, perhaps not as good or as mature, but certainly very promising and very intelligent. Basten again. Nobody to his left. Sansom for England. Van Basten's name booming out from the Dutch supporters, 40,000 of them in the Rheinstadion. This is a memorable personal performance as the Dutch warm up Suvrijn, one of their other substitutes. Robson. Hoddle. Sansom. Hateley waiting on the far side. Hoddle again, but Aerle closing the gap there. Adams tackle. Barnes. Waddle. Hateley pulling away. Rijkaard in front of him. Gullit back to challenge Gary Stevens. Well, he's conducting things now, is Ruud Gullit. Wright. Adams. Sansom. Here's Barnes.
Well, there's been and will be a lot of criticism of Bobby Robson. I don't think those of us who work with television are as extreme in our remarks as some that we read in newspapers. But on the other hand, John Barnes playing throughout this match and the last match, without any doubt being out of form, is really an extraordinary decision. I just can't see that in any way. He's out of touch. And it really would be kinder to have brought him off and not subjected him to the doubt that enters into his mind almost every time a ball's given to him.
dreams are dying now. There's only 8 minutes to go. Sansom. Hateley. Barnes. Hateley again. And Barnes again. Corner to England. Well, let's hope for some dramatic change of events here. Adams and Wright are both in the penalty area. Here's Adams. Well, that might have fallen better. Gary Stevens through the crowd, away by Mühren, I think. All the Dutch were back anyway. Here's Van Basten again. He's got the other side of Hoddle. Taking on Wright and still getting a shot in. He can do nothing wrong at the moment. Here's Barnes. Hoddle. Barnes again. Wright's cross. Sansom. Well, Marco van Basten turned this match in the second half with 5 minutes of finishing power that the England defenders will never forget. It was so precariously balanced at 1-1. And then suddenly he struck twice to add to the one he got before. Hoddle with the free kick. Wright. Adams. Here's Liniker. Sansom. Here's Koeman. Across to Gullit. Van Basten's in the middle again. And Holland want to make a second substitution here with only 4 minutes to go. I was saying that England's European Championship hopes are dying here. I suppose if we were to beat the Soviet Union heavily and the Republic of Ireland were to do us a favour and win their 2 matches, there may be a mathematical hope that we could still qualify, but I'll leave that to the mathematicians back at home, because certainly with 2 defeats it would take a miracle. And for the moment Van Basten is getting a tremendous ovation as he's replaced by Suvrijn, number 18. Gary Stevens. Jimmy Hill.
It's not very pleasant really sitting here seeing the remnants of the England team playing out the last few minutes, because really Hoddle is having no influence. He's running, making a challenge there, but it's a token challenge. some of the players have lost their way entirely, and those that haven't have probably run out of energy or inspiration at this stage. But we've seen a fine game of football, won by skill. And to lose is not necessarily the end of the world. But nevertheless, there will be questions asked at the end of this championship. Not the least of them, will things get worse in years to come unless we rejoin the European scene?
We only have 2 minutes left here, but Gary Lineker's not giving up the ghost yet. Here's Barnes. I think that may well be a corner to England, which just gives us a flicker of hope. Now then, Mark Wright, Tony Adams, Mark Hateley. Can one of them convert this corner by John Barnes? It's too long for everybody, including Brian Robson. Good job, Hoddle got that away from Gullit. England having to throw everybody forward now. This is Barnes. Too long for Hateley. And the danger is that when you have to chase a game like England have now, with almost an impossible task on hand, the Dutch could always manipulate an opening on the break and make the gap between the two teams look rather bigger than it really is.
Well, it looks to be the end of the day for England. They have to play Russia come what may, or the Soviet Union on Saturday. And our hopes, I suppose, will turn to the other players who play in the Football League and in the Scottish League with the green shirts of Ireland as the representatives, for us to cheer along the way, hopefully to a semi-final place, because barring 10,000 miracles, it isn't going to be England. There'll be a lot of talk about changing the England manager. At the moment, the FA have said quite conclusively that they're standing by his contract for the World Cup.
There's Hateley.
But whether the pressure that he's been under in 2 successive tournaments will, at the end of the day, be more pressure than a man should honestly withstand, will be seen in a month or two.
Hoddle with the corner. Hateley's in there. So is Wright. And Van Aerle for Holland, who break away with stoppage time now being played, and Holland leading by 3-1. This is Suvrijn. And now Gullit. The 10,000 miracles, I think we'd have to see the Republic of Ireland defeat Holland and the Soviet Union, and England would have to have a very good win in their 3rd match for that mathematical improbability to happen. Koeman heads the ball back, because we are definitely now moving towards our 2nd defeat in this championship. It's only a matter of stoppage time, and there's not much of that. Holland have beaten England by 3-1 here in Düsseldorf. The man who scored the 3 goals, brought in by Rinus Michels today, Marco van Basten, not on the pitch at the end, but on the pitch when it mattered, to produce a fine personal performance, which in many, many ways, his elusive presence in the penalty area, the difference between the 2 teams. England walk off disappointed, having played well for half an hour, having recovered well to make it 1-1, but then the game went away from them, and as Jimmy Hill said, it was the Dutch that had the extra gear and perhaps a little bit of extra quality in the penalty area that made the final score on Peter Shilton's 100th appearance. Holland 3, England 1.
Well,